Moving up to the upper portion of the actual dash, you will see a button that is labeled bright and dim. That of course is for brightening and dimming the actual dash display and the radio. Above that, you will see a little red light that says wheelchair warning. If the wheelchair door is open, that light should illuminate. It is a dummy light. Over time, lights fail. We all know that, right? So don't rely on that little light. It is there for your convenience, but it is your responsibility as an end user to know what is deployed, stowed, retracted, secured, etc. So don't rely on that little light. It is a nice little function, but don't rely on it. You will also see a little red light down to the right that says jacks down. Same thing. It will illuminate if the jacks are down, but it is still your responsibility to get out and physically check that the jacks have been retracted or are extended. Next to the bright dim switch, you will see a control, and it looks like a windshield washer with windshield washer fluid. If I push up on that and the key is in the ignition, it is a multiple selector for different speeds for your windshield washer fluid. Windshield wipers. If I want to spray fluid, press in on the little rubber button and it will spray fluid onto the windshield like a normal car, right? The last little switch right next to that, it says battery boost. Now the easiest way to explain the battery boost is this. You have one battery which is meant for starting the vehicle. You have a second battery set that is meant for running everything behind the driver's seat. All the 12 volt functions, actually the 12 volt panel up to the upper right hand corner. Now, if you were to leave the chassis on and you didn't follow all the instructions that I'm going to provide you in this video, and you left the disconnects, which are two main disconnects for the batteries, you left them on, and you left, let's say, the headlights on, the chassis is going to die just like if you left your car door open at home, right? So what happens is, you'll come in here, you'll turn the key, and you realize that you left the battery disconnects on, and the batteries died. What this battery boost switch does is it combines both sets of batteries together to jump start the chassis. So if you press and hold this switch, you can hold it for about 30 seconds and try to turn the key at the same time. It's going to take all the power from the auxiliary or coach system and shove it into the chassis batteries and try to fire this thing up. So press and hold this for about 30 seconds, turn the key at the same time. The vehicle will attempt to start. If it doesn't start the first time, turn the key off, release the battery boost switch, let it set for about 5 minutes. Try it again. Press and hold for 30 seconds, turn the key at the same time, try to start the vehicle. Now you can do that about 3 or 4 times. If the 4th time this thing does not start, you're going to have to find another way to start it. Get the generator jump started, get another vehicle pulled up next to the vehicle and actually jump start it, plug the vehicle in and charge the batteries until they're fully charged. Now please be aware, if either set of batteries die in the unit, you leave on either set and they die completely, even though you managed to get the engine running or you managed to get the auxiliary system working, a set of batteries inside this unit is not considered fully charged unless it's charged for 48 hours. If you charge it for 5 hours, that's not enough. The batteries are still not maintained correctly, and it's going to cause issues down the line. We do always recommend that you plug the vehicle in whenever possible. We say every night, and I will explain how that works and how you set up the vehicle for that application. The buttons right below that are labeled exhaust brake, fog lights, and this one looks like it has a little light bulb on it. The exhaust brake is an exhaust brake like a Jake brake, like a semi would have, or a large diesel vehicle. This is a diesel vehicle, it has an exhaust brake. How the exhaust brake works: turn this on, accelerate and brake like normal. What the thing is going to do when that is activated is it is going to use back pressure from the engine when you're slowing down and braking to help slow the vehicle down. It will save the life of your brakes. It will help you when you're going down hills. It's a great little function. The only limit to the exhaust brake: do not use it in slippery conditions, ice, snow, gravel, etc. Other than that, turn it on, accelerate, brake like normal. You're just going to realize that you don't have to press the brake pads, the brake pedal as hard as you normally would. There are a lot of city laws and regulations that say no Jake brakes, no exhaust brakes. If they say that, it's up to you whether or not you follow the laws and regulations of your city, but I highly advise against using it in those circumstances. The fog light switch is exactly that. If I turn it on and I turn the actual headlights on, the fog lights will be on. Now please be aware, you notice when I turn the switch on for the headlights, it clicks twice. One is going to be your marker lights, the second is going to be your headlights. It is beeping at me because the key is not to the on position and the headlights are on. It's warning you, hey, you left the headlights on. Anytime that you're not using something in this front section, make sure you turn it off. That way you're saving your batteries. So, there is no auto off on the headlights. This is something, if you don't follow my instructions, these will drain the batteries fairly quick, and if you ignore that horrible beeping noise, you're going to drain the batteries. Below that, I'm actually going to have to move the camera to show you, and we're going to go over that last, but it is a very, very important part of setting the vehicle up. It says on it, HWH, computerized leveling. This vehicle is equipped with a leveling system that will level the vehicle in a very flat ground. Other than that, you're just going to stabilize the unit. Now I'm going to go further in detail once I move the camera, so we're going to go over the rest of the stuff and then get back to that. To turn your hazards on, to the left of the steering wheel is a silver tab right beneath your turn signal. It is labeled hazard. If I pull out on it, it will turn on the hazards around the vehicle. To turn the hazards back off, do not push in on the silver tab. Use your actual turn signal and it will cancel it out. They expect you to turn your hazards on, pull over to the side of the road, use your turn signal to get back onto the road, and then cancel it back out by turning your turn signal off. On the end of the actual turn signal lever, you will see it says set cruise on, off, resume, accelerate. This is standard cruise control like you would have in your vehicle at home. Accelerate and brake like normal. Set your speed that you want to by pressing N on the end of this stick, and it will set your speed. Resume, accelerate, press towards the resume, accelerate to increase your speed. Like I said, it is not a progressive cruise control, so don't expect it to slow you down when the vehicle in front of you slows down. Make sure you actually brake and accelerate like normal. The steering wheel is a tilt steering wheel. To the left of the steering column is a pedal with a spring on it. If I push down on that little pedal, pull the steering wheel where I want it, and release, it will stay in that position. As for the actual operation of the vehicle and starting the engine, this is a diesel engine. When you go to start it, it must warm up before you start the vehicle. So unlike your car at home where you just turn the key and start the vehicle, you do have to take a couple steps in between starting. So if I turn the key, first time I turn it, a bunch of little warning lights just came on, but you will see it says wait to start. Right here in the center, right above your headlight and your brake, it says wait to start. Do not try to start the vehicle until that has gone away. Depending on the temperature outside, depends on how long that little light stays on. So, I'm going to turn it. It's going to come on. All my lights are going to go away. And I can now start the vehicle. The beeping that we're hearing right now is the jacks, so I'm going to put those away. Alright, so right now it says low voltage on the dash, and you can see it in the video. That is not an issue. What happens is it takes a couple seconds for the alternator to turn on and start charging the batteries. Once the alternator actually kicks on after about a minute or two, that low voltage will go away. So you may or may not notice that when you first start the vehicle, but that is exactly what the low voltage is on there and the reason why it's displayed. We're going to give this thing a couple seconds. It's going to go back to its normal operating range. We'll use a little arrow to cancel that out. Alright. Now right now it's running a little bit high. I'm guessing it's because I had the jacks going up because they were already down, and that's what that beeping noise was. Typically when you start the vehicle will idle at about 700 RPMs. 700 RPMs in a diesel is considered low idle. Now the reason I'm stressing this to you, when you are driving down the road at highway speeds and higher RPMs, the exhaust is burning at a nice rate. If you're at lower speeds or a low idle, like you're parked and the vehicle is just idling, the fuel is not burning as efficiently as it should be. The issue being, inside the actual exhaust system of this vehicle is a sort of filter. And what it's doing is it is collecting the particles, the soot particles, from the diesel exhaust as it's burning. Over time, running at low idles, those start to build up inside this exhaust basket. After a random amount of time, a little yellow light will display on the dash, and it just indicates that that filter is starting to clog up. You have two options. You can drive the vehicle at highway speed until that light goes away, or you can put the vehicle in fast idle. Now remember, slow idle is about 700 RPMs. To put the vehicle in fast idle, what you're going to actually do is use the cruise control on the stick here, and you're going to turn it on. You'll see a little green gauge illuminate on the dash, and you'll push the resume accelerate towards the resume accelerate. It will then increase the RPMs of the engine from that 700 RPM mark to about where it's running right now, the 1000 RPMs. At this 1000 RPMs, the vehicle is now running at high idle and it is burning the fuel more efficiently. When do you need to do this? Don't wait until the little yellow light comes on. The best thing you can do, the vehicle should have it warm up when you first start it up, about 10 minutes. For the first 2 minutes,